Hello, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube. My name is Mr. Maxwell, and welcome back to another side quest about video games. With obviously Exile Magpie.
Hello.
This week's been weird, like for our responses.
Yes.
We'll get to the D&D stuff because that's probably the biggest stuff in my opinion.
Yeah, for this
just for how shockingly stupid somebody could go. Like I've never actually seen this is like of what they've done. This is like something that I would expect Activision to do.
It's
company.
It is such. It's some of it. Some of it is like I know 12-year-olds who act more mature than the parts of the response of this.
But we'll get to that. But there's only two really big stories that I could really think of, which was one the OG and the other one is Ubisoft.
Yes.
Which, to be fair, we haven't really spoken about.
No, because
in a while. Mainly because they haven't done anything. Mainly because they've been cancelling everything.
Yeah, they've been cancelling all their games left, right, and centre, or delaying it, like Skull and Bones.
In the space of 6 months, they have cancelled 7 games.
Yeah.
Out of everything, which is great. Let's see. I think it's got a list of the games. The delayed Skull and Bones again, which, by the way, this is a game that's been delayed like on and on for the last, I think, 3 years. I'm pretty sure it's meant to come out 3 years ago.
At least. Like, Skull and Bones have been delayed pre-pandemic.
Yeah. It was meant to come out. Yeah, it was meant to come out before the pandemic. Then it got delayed by a year.
Yeah.
Then the pandemic happened.
Yeah.
So it got delayed again.
Yeah.
Then it got delayed again after the pandemic.
And
now it's been delayed again.
I think some reports had it that it basically had to be redesigned from the ground up at least once, maybe twice. And then, of course, there is the whole thing of Beyond Good and Evil 2.
Which now, apparently they've said is still in development.
Which is now going to be the longest game in development in history, breaking Duke Nukem.
Yeah.
not a record you want. Not a record you want. Like, and here's the thing, like, we've said this before when they announced, oh yeah, we're going to make a open world Star Wars game.
Which we still haven't heard anything about.
I know, but that's like in pre like.
Oh yeah, I know.
Like, it's only just been announced, and I'm like.
So basically, you're just making another Ubisoft game.
But Beyond Good and Evil was looking like. I mean, all the trailers they shown, that was like
everything it looked like we were going to have like a big open. Well, I wouldn't even say open world, like an open universe.
Yeah, an open
like a No Man's Sky.
Yeah.
Sort of thing.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Apparently, this Star Wars game is going to be kind of like that.
Oh.
And I'm like, but Beyond Good and Evil was looking like a Star Wars-esque game.
Yeah.
What are you?
But with monkeys, and a rhino, I think.
Pig people,
and a pig. Yeah.
I just like. I mean, granted, it is two. I think it's the French studio that's making Beyond Good and Evil 2, and I think it's one of the Montreal one that is making the Star Wars one. The people who do Division.
I forgot my name.
Yeah, but they're the ones that are doing the Star Wars one.
Yeah,
and I'm still like, you're actively putting your two of your studios in competition with each other. Like, what?
Which is,
are you EA or
in a sense, it's not a bad thing to do. In all honesty, it's not really bad because you can make a competition. It depends on like when the release schedules are for these games are, because you got to think. I know this is Ubisoft, but you got to think. If you think logically, right, Beyond Good and Evil, by the time this Star Wars game had come around, Beyond Good and Evil was announced years ago.
Oh yeah,
so
it should have been out by now.
You could have been like, well, Beyond Good and Evil's going to be coming out in the near future, so we shouldn't be too bad.
But
so by the time Star Wars has come out, this game would have been out for a few years.
Yeah.
If you think about it logically, that's how it should have gone.
That should have gone, but it's not.
But it hasn't gone that way at all.
God
damn it, Ubisoft.
So, they've cancelled all these games. The games that they have released haven't exactly done well. Rainbow Six Contagion hasn't exactly set the world alight.
That's because that was terrible.
And so, because of that, Ubisoft shares have dropped 40%.
I like how they released Contagion, right? Everyone's asking for like a Rainbow, like a Rainbow Six,
like a
Las Vegas.
Yeah, a traditional Rainbow Six game.
Like go back to that with like that sort of mode instead of
this...
just the PvP, which is Siege. Now Siege is really good. I like Siege, but I do understand people wanting to go back to what Rainbow Six
give us
was,
like
right?
You can just keep updating Siege because if it is a live service.
So
and
what do? They give us a sci-fi game which nobody asked for,
which was basically GTFO.
Yeah. I mean, the only good thing out of that thing was the whole idea that like if you went down,
if you got captured,
you could
yeah,
go.
That
character was like locked, and you'd have to go. You'd have to go and get them.
Yeah.
Which I think was really cool. That's a really cool idea. But like, I feel like you built the game on that, and that's not really much.
I think they stole. I'm not saying they stole the ideas from GTFO.
They're the same ideas.
There was a lot of those similar ideas, but they just didn't execute it.
Yeah.
As well.
But that goes into my point. That's like they made a game that really nobody asked for.
Yeah.
And then they were surprised that Contagion didn't do very well. And it's like, well, Contagion was never going to do very well. No one who likes Rainbow Six wants a sci-fi game. They want Rainbow Six.
They want Rainbow Six. They want Siege. Siege is like the arcade Rainbow Six that they want.
Yeah.
And they're happy with. And then they want old school Rainbow Six where everyone lines up, gets their plan together, breach, clear everything out, and Ubisoft went, well, we're just going to give you Rainbow Six Siege, but with aliens.
Yeah. Not what anybody wanted. But I mean, Ubisoft. During all this, obviously the stock prices dropped by 40%.
And this is at the same time where still all the negative publicity over how they treat their staff is still like not being addressed.
Yeah, Mario and Rabbids has not done as well as they expected. To be fair, again, that's another game that's like, well, what are you expecting? It's a it's got Mario in it.
It's an XCOM,
but it's a strategy game.
Yeah,
like strategy games on niche markets.
Yeah, exactly. But here's another thing. Like, I thought it did okay for what it is.
Yeah.
It's on the Switch.
It's not done as well as and again, it's on the Switch.
Again, it's one of these like I honestly I want to know how many units they expected to sell of Mario Rabbids, right? 2. Because if it's the same sort of stupid number that like Capcom came up with,
they'll be thinking
for Resident Evil stuff.
They'll be thinking that the amount that, because you got to think Mario and Rabbids, the first one, probably blew expectations out of the water.
Yeah, it did.
Which it did, right? And they're probably thinking, oh, this will do the same. But you got to remember is that Mario and Rabbids, the first one, had much more advertisement. I remember when that game was coming out, I couldn't take 4 steps without either seeing a picture, an advert on my phone, walking past a TV in a shop.
Yeah,
it was there.
Ubisoft seemed to have just
they really pushed that game.
Yeah, no, but as a whole, Ubisoft seemed to have just stopped advertising as much.
Well, the thing is, they haven't. What was the last game they released other than Mario? I mean, okay, so what was the last game they released that wasn't on the Switch? I can't actually think.
I want to say Contagion.
I want to say Contagion, and I was like,
almost a year
ago. I want
to
say either a year or just over a year ago. It feels like it was a year ago, if I'm honest.
Because Far Cry 6 come out before
Well, even then,
or after?
Far Cry 6.
Did it come out after?
Oh, Far Cry 6 came out, yes. Far Cry 6. But there you go. That's a game that I completely forgot about. I mean, granted, that's because it's it's terrible, but that's not the point. Actually, no, I'd even argue that it's even worse than terrible. It's forgettable.
Yeah.
Yeah. But even then, that game, I can't really remember the advertisement for it.
The advertisement was the thingy who's the bad guy. And
yeah, but that's the same for all of them.
He's going on about like all the like stuff you can do, and then I'm going to do this and that, and then, I'm only kidding, but am I?
Yes, I remember now.
But I think the problem with Ubisoft is that every game they release is a Ubisoft game.
The Ubisoft problem now is, instead of like games being like to look at to compare to other ones, I'm not going to say Sony because we bring Sony in a lot.
Yeah.
Mainly because they're a really good example of what to do with games.
They have really good examples.
Yeah. But let's bring in Microsoft.
Yeah.
Right? Let's bring in Microsoft. They haven't released anything yet, but if you look at their lineup of what's coming, there is a massive diverse list there. There's like a lot of different types of games.
They're not all just open world.
Exactly. They're not exactly the same game, just with a different coat of paint on it, you know? And I think Ubisoft, because they found that they did so well with Assassin's Creed, right, and they did really well with
Assassin's Creed 2.
Assassin's Creed 2. But they did really well, and they found a good formula. And instead of just focusing that formula on like Assassin's Creed and possibly Far Cry, because I mean Far Cry kind of does that now.
Yeah, but Far Cry was very similar.
Far Cry was a very similar formula. I think Far Cry, because Far Cry did it first.
Yeah.
Far Cry was like the tester, if it works and that, and then they put it into Assassin's Creed, especially Assassin's Creed 2, where it worked really well. The problem is that because they think that this formula works and that they don't need to do anything else, they just make the same game.
Yeah. And we've complained about it before with Ubisoft games. There's like on the screen is just clutter.
Yeah.
There are so many like little bits and bobs on the fucking compass, but there's nothing actually like
and then when you
on screen that makes you want to go and investigate it.
And then when you actually open up the map, because there's that many icons, it just gets lost in like where you want to go, and like it's just like you open up that map and you just go, well, what the fuck do I do? Because there's just so much. There's too much on the screen.
And also, I think another thing that has probably hurt them is what they did with Breakpoint, Ghost Recon, when they just basically sabotaged their own game for monetization, and then doubled down on that and threw NFTs into it, which failed catastrophically. So, like, Ubisoft's reputation, which had been damaged already with the
protests,
and the sexual
and the
abuse of power and the poor treatment of staff, etc., etc. It was already at a low point, and then the stuff they pulled with the NFTs in the game, and then the fact that they literally went, "Oh, we didn't make absolutely billions of dollars with this NFT thing, so we're going to pull the plug instantly."
Yeah,
like no one trusts them.
Oh yeah.
Their reputation is in the gutter, and I think a lot of companies in the AAA game industry may start to find out now is that trust once lost is very hard to get back.
Well, yeah, nobody trusts EA anymore.
No one trusts EA, even though they've come like Jedi Fallen Order's a decent game.
Dead Space is
looking actually quite good. People are still like,
it's EA.
It's EA.
Where's the catch?
Yeah.
You know? I mean, I'm like that with Dead Space. As much as I've been saying on this,
it's going to take you. You're going to have to release like 2, 3, 4 games. In a row, without any sort of bullshit, before people will start actually like taking your word of like going, okay, so they've gone beyond. They're not going to throw this into this game, right? And it's the same with Activision Blizzard are going to be in that boat right now.
Yeah. Well,
there is literally COD and nothing else, because nothing on Blizzard's side is going to be treated with Like, oh yeah, this is going to be amazing. Like Diablo 4, already people are saying I'm going to wait to see how the monetization is going to be like. Overwatch 2's user base is starting to really suffer.
Actually, no, speaking of Overwatch, I don't think I've played it in...
I haven't played it for about 2 weeks. Because I got to rank 45 and then was like, yep, no.
Oh, you got the hero?
I got the hero. I'm literally playing it to get the hero so that when the co-op comes out, I have everyone.
Ah, yeah.
Right? That's the only reason why I'm doing it.
Yeah. And that's if the co-op's good.
And I'm worried that the co-op's not going to be good.
No, the co-op's... We don't have to worry about the co-op being good or not, because it's just going to get delayed.
Yeah,
It's
going to get delayed.
It's going to get
Right,
delayed.
if it gets delayed, I'm quitting the game. That's the only thing that's got me playing it.
Yeah.
Because I got into a game where there was only one healer. And it was me.
Oh, God.
Like, that's the situation we're starting to see now in Overwatch with the matchmaker. Like, the player base is dropping to a point where even if you go into the bit where no one's playing, the game is starting to struggle to find you a game.
Yeah.
With full teams. Like, I just really am kind of very concerned because, especially the fact that we haven't heard anything about the the co-op,
Yeah.
and it's supposed to be pretty soon.
Yeah.
So, back onto Ubisoft. Like, I don't know where they can go from here.
Well, I mean,
they have to really break the structure that they have, and to be perfectly honest, right, from what I saw of what they had for Beyond Good and Evil 2, there was a potential that maybe they were actually like...
It looked good. It looked like a good idea.
Moving away from the collectathon bullshit that they had in all their open world games.
It generally actually looked like well, at least because I know the people in charge then are not there now. But when they did the interview, it generally looked like they were listening to fans and people and
doing what they want
with a community and stuff like that. So it did generally sound like they were onto something, but they're not there now.
Yeah,
they've gone.
Like we've not had anything official out for a while.
Well, it's been roughly about 3 years, I think.
I think there was a live stream like last year.
Really?
Showing gameplay.
Oh, well, I didn't see them.
But it is concerning.
The last Ubisoft...
And what's even more concerning for Ubisoft is considering the fact that Microsoft and Sony and other companies are just acquiring companies in the gaming sphere left, right and centre. For your shares to drop that much, that's a worrying sign. Now, granted, I don't think Microsoft will come in because at the moment they're in the middle of now multiple lawsuits from multiple countries.
Yeah, well,
in regards to
the thing for Microsoft is there's absolutely no way they would be able to buy Activision and Ubisoft. There's not a chance they'd be allowed to do that. So,
but because Microsoft now have to fight Google and Nvidia.
Yeah.
Who have all now joined in a lawsuit against them again for this. And I think I now think the longer this goes on, the more it's going to be the case of you can buy Activision, but you can't
buy Blizzard.
Basically,
or you can buy Blizzard, but you can't buy.
Yeah, you can have one or the other. If you buy one, you have to split off the other, and also
which one would you buy?
Right, probably because they want COD.
Activision.
Activision.
I think I would buy Activision.
Here's the thing, right? Activision can't survive on its own. Let's all be honest here. They can't.
Yeah. I would buy Activision.
And even if they bought Activision, I think they would have to like cut off some of the like studios underneath Activision.
Yeah.
Like Sledgehammer, Infinity Ward. I'm not saying these were the ones they would set loose, but like some of the studios that's under that Activision umbrella
there's a chance that they might even have to sell IPs.
Yeah. Crash Bandicoot, Spyro. Crash Bandicoot, Spyro, they'd have to probably sell those IPs as well. So, and also, the thing that is now starting to be brought up a lot is the fact that even though Microsoft say, "Oh yeah, we'll let Call of Duty go on everything," it doesn't. No, we're not nasty. People are now turning around and going, "You said that about Starfield.
Yeah.
You said
Also,
that about Bethesda."
the thing is that because like even though we'll do this and we'll do that, like that can change. They can change that, but with a click of the fingers.
Unless they actually make it into a contract.
Yeah, unless they make a contract
And make it irrevocable, which we'll get onto when we go to talk about the other thing.
Which, let's be honest, that's not going to happen. Like, there's no way Microsoft are ever going to do that. So, yeah, it's.
I think either the takeover will be blocked, or the takeover will be allowed through under the proviso that
they only buy like half the company.
Half the company has to be split off
Yeah.
into and made an independent company.
Yeah.
And like I say, I feel they would probably take Activision
For COD.
for Call of Duty and let Blizzard go away, because Blizzard's IP, if they can get their fucking house together and not fucking
If they can clean up. I mean, granted, they need to get the yellow suit guys from Monsters Inc. to clean them up. Like
they need to literally burn that thing from the inside out.
if they can clean up and get a good because has Dragonflight come out yet?
Yes, I think
So
it has
for as much as like reputation with their fan base, they're getting it back with Dragonflight, because I think it's done okay.
Yeah, Dragonflight's done okay.
It's not done anything.
It's basically it's kind of listened to the fan base of like, and it's not fucked them off.
Yeah,
Because I think if they did, I think that would have been the death of the game, because like everything that had come out previously had been so negative. Like Overwatch 2 is just a downgrade, and everyone's really annoyed at it that it's so freaking grindy and expensive, and like. And then you had Diablo Immortal, absolute clusterfuck. Like, I mean, I hope you're glad with your money, Blizzard, because you literally decided to take your fan base and throw them out the window.
But yeah, if they can clean their act up and actually produce things gaming wise,
with the intention of making a great
you can
game,
see that they can get
with the intention of making a great game instead of making a cash machine, basically.
Then I can actually see Blizzard getting that fan base back.
Yeah.
Now, do I think Blizzard will be able to do that on their own? No. That's the thing with Blizzard.
It depends on how the split is done.
That's if they do a split, obviously.
I suppose.
But anyway, back to Ubisoft. For Ubisoft and all their problems, the solution is not East Guillemot telling their workbase to work harder.
You know, for a person that is from a country that has not once, but twice, rose up and deposed, the first time quite violently, a monarchy, for the tone-deaf attitude that Yves Guillemot is showing, is quite the thing.
Even though, it's him and his buddies, it's their fault that their company's in this
it's
situation. It's not the workers.
Like your friend, Yves Guillemot's friend, who they had to give a golden handshake of to get rid of, literally was one of the reasons why every single Ubisoft game is the same now. Like a person who has openly criticized any female protagonist any Ubisoft studio has ever put forward.
I think he was also one of the ones that complained about Elden Ring when it came out. He was one of the ones.
No, he had gone then. It was one of the lead directors of Assassin's Creed.
I know the people at Guerrilla complained about Elden Ring, which was just like, what are you doing?
It was salt. It was much
much
salt. It was like, look,
your game didn't do very well, but you released your game at the same time as the most hyped game I can even remember.
And Elden Ring actually delivered all its hype.
So, what? It's kind of on you. That's kind of your fault. It's not like Elden Ring just showed up one day and went, by the way, I'm releasing tomorrow. No.
Elden Ring was literally like the most anticipated game in the Game Awards for, I think, 4 or 5 years straight. Like, no one... Like, it's like, basically, it's like... when Lord of the Rings was coming out in cinema,
Yeah.
no one went up against it.
Nope.
It was literally like, I think the only one was Harry Potter, and that was because Harry Potter
came out the month before.
Yeah.
They moved because Harry Potter used to come out in the December, and then Lord of the Rings came out, and so they just moved Harry Potter to November.
Yeah. Like, no one deliberately went up against Lord of the Rings.
Especially Return of the King. I don't even think anything actually got released in December.
Yeah, because there was no point. No one was going to watch anything other than Return of the King. No one. Literally. Unless it was date night and they both wanted to see a rom-com, you were not going... The only movie that was going to be shown was Lord of the Rings.
But it's like... on that one, it's just like nobody ever releases anything against COD. For a good reason. Because everybody just buys COD. It's just like, well, I'm not going to release my game at the same time as that. No one's going to buy my game.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
You need to...
Well, no one releases an RPG when Final Fantasy gets released.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, yeah, okay, you've got a new IP in that, but you need to be able to give it legs to stand on.
Yeah. And here's the thing: Horizon Forbidden West hasn't exactly bombed.
It's not done bad.
Yeah.
It's not done bad.
It's just like the thing, and we've said it before. Like the whole drawing thing of the whole thing of Elden Ring is that your character is experiencing everything for the first time that you are, and having a massive HUD of like, oh, go over here.
Yeah.
Is the antithesis of a Souls game.
Mm.
It is literally the antithesis. One of the whole points of any of the Souls games from From Software is literally trying to figure out what the fuck is going on. And you learn as your character learns through interactions with NPCs and story beats and
granted, everybody talks in fucking riddles.
Yes.
It's like, oh, can you not just tell me, just straight up, what the fuck's going on? No, I will have to talk to you like this. The crow goes to the west, for it only to fall to the south. What? What are you on? I'm not even asking about crows. But that's Souls for you. Anyway, back to Ubisoft. Yeah, Yves Guillemot, I swear to God, like, out of all the companies, Yves Guillemot is probably the one who is the most out of touch person.
No, I think Bobby Kotick is just as out of touch.
No. Bobby Kotick is a prick. There's a difference here.
Yes, that's very true.
Yves Guillemot is one of those, like, he's just he's an idiot. Like, he's a complete and utter idiot, but he's also out of touch.
I think I'm starting to think, when we were talking about you're either complicit or ignorant.
Yeah.
Of the situation.
Yeah.
I think I'm starting to lean with Yves Guillemot that he was completely and utterly ignorant.
Yeah, he was. You could just look at his interviews that he does. He looks like one of those person who literally does not know what the fuck's going on, like at any point.
And it's just like I do feel like at the moment some certain corporations at the moment are being run by people who had no actual influence on how that company got to where it is.
Yeah.
It's either that or it's the whole Vince McMahon scenario at WWE where he did get them to that bit, but he is stuck in that bit.
Yeah.
Or he's stuck in the bit before that bit.
Yeah.
To the detriment of the actual company.
Like, look at with Ubisoft. Like, the next game I think is going to be the one that we know is Assassin's Creed Mirage, which is supposed to be like it's an anniversary game of Assassin's Creed, so it's actually going back.
Yeah, it's going back to the old style.
Right? Which is perfectly fine. I might even look at it.
Yeah, because it's an actual
for me personally, it is actually an Assassin's Creed game. So I might not
it's
even.
It's going to be about assassinations. But, like what the hell?
The big one is because that's not the big one. That's the weird thing. The big one that they've got coming up is Skull and Bones, and that's a niche game.
It's
and that gets delayed. That's been delayed again.
Here's the thing, right? It's been reworked so many times. I don't know what the hell the game's going to be like. I don't know what it's going to be.
I still don't think it's not going to do as well as they think.
Like,
when
they first announced it, it sounded like it was going to be like a pirate version of like World of Tanks or War Thunder, where it was like two teams battling it out in constant conflict, and you would get bigger and better ships, etc.
Well, it's not that anymore.
And it's not. It doesn't seem to be that anymore.
It's
but like,
basically think a Black Flag,
but without the
getting off onto islands and all that sort of stuff.
just. But here's the thing, right? It doesn't look like they've actually made the mechanics any better. Don't get me wrong, the mechanics weren't bad.
Yeah.
But when you make a whole game around that one thing, you have to make sure the mechanics of it are super fucking tight.
Aye. I mean, of what I've seen of it, it looks all right. But it's not, like I said, it's a niche thing, and I'm not part of that
Niche.
sort of niche. So to me, it just.
I mean, I'll be interested in it because I'm interested in anything and everything. Like my net is wide open.
Yeah.
Wide open.
And mine's quite wide. It's just there are things that are just like no.
Yeah.
It's just no.
So yeah, it's worrying times. And here's another thing. Like I really don't like with the current climate of like business in general is that the people at the top who are ultimately responsible for all the fuck ups.
Yeah.
Are not going to be the ones that suffer.
Yeah, it's the lower ones.
It's the people that actually have to deal with
Yeah.
all the fuck ups they do and the decisions they make. Despite that, those decisions have no basis in the actual reality of the market involved, which again we'll go into when we talk about the other thing.
Yeah.
And they just basically they can literally go into a company, ruin it, and then have another job 3 months down the line with an even bigger paycheck if need be.
The way it is.
And it's like these people. The thing is, I look at some of these people and I'm like, how are you in this position?
A lot of them have been like they either never had to climb the ladder.
Yeah.
And just got there, or they've been up there for so long that they forgot what it was like to actually climb that ladder.
Yeah. And they're so disattached from the actual consumer.
Like a lot of them forget like how hard it is just to go from like the bottom rung just to get up onto that next step.
Yeah.
Like
But also they don't realize
work.
that they've forgotten like the fundamentals as well. Like,
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous. And yeah, I think like I say, I've said it before. I do feel like we need one of the big companies to go under.
Maybe.
We need one of the big companies to go, and I know unfortunately a lot of people will lose their jobs over it.
The problem with that's probably not going to happen because just either Microsoft or Sony will come along and buy them.
But here, right? Okay, I don't know about Sony, but we've already ruled out Microsoft.
Yeah, Microsoft won't.
So maybe Tencent.
Oh no! What I mean is not like Ubisoft right now. What I'm saying is like for a lot of these companies, especially for the people at the big, they know like some point down the line if things get really bad, they can just sell their stuff and jog on.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, which is
so they don't actually care.
Yeah, there is no consequences.
Yeah, it's not for them.
There is no consequence for them.
People.
Yeah, there's no consequence for them fucking up.
Yeah,
basically.
And that's what it's in at least the entertainment business. It's been like that for a very long time now. In the music entertainment, the amount of studios that get bought right when they're about to go under because it's been ran poorly, but the person at the top doesn't give a shit because it's just like, well, I'll just get me payday
and go
and jog on. And yeah, okay, those people, hopefully those people keep their jobs, but like some of them don't because they get downsized.
Yeah.
Even though they've been bought.
They get basically amalgamated into another one, and
yeah.
There's too many staff then.
Yeah.
Which is another concern with the Microsoft takeover of like Activision Blizzard. Like if you think about like everything that's under Xbox and Microsoft as a whole, like that's a fucking bloated company.
That is a very big company.
That is a worryingly big company.
Yeah. And so companies like Ubisoft and that, unfortunately, the only people who will ever suffer in the way it is now is the little guy.
Yeah, the workforce. Which is why you unionize.
Yeah.
This is why you unionize, because at least then it gives you protections. It gives the unions can force through, can get people.
No, I don't understand.
Concessions in
what I don't understand is because do Ubisoft actually have a union? Because I thought in France it's like a law. You have to have a union.
Yeah, they do.
Alright.
But they don't have They don't have all studios in France. Like they have
that's
stuff
true.
in Montreal and
That's true.
in America, and
I thought there was a law in Canada as well. There has to be a union.
I don't know about Canada, but obviously if they have studios in America,
Oh yeah, this is in America.
not only do you not have to have unions, you can actively fight against them.
Because we've got a law about unions. I'm sure we do.
Yeah, we allow unions, but at the moment our current government is trying to literally go, yeah, you can't. It's illegal to strike.
Yeah, you can't. Well, I mean, this country's been trying to cut down on people's free speech for fucking years, so it doesn't really surprise me.
For about I don't know 12.
Yeah, this country's been pushing.
I wonder what happened 12 years ago.
We're not allowed to say certain things, and we're not allowed to do things, So it doesn't surprise me.
I mean, hell, then the current government wants it to be illegal for the police to be able to stop protests if they just walk down the street because it's disruptive. I mean, granted, usually they do this in a busy road, but it's like that's the whole point of a protest.
Yeah,
that is the whole point.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, like, because not that long ago, at least where we live, not that long ago, we had the teachers' strike.
Yeah.
And they weren't blocking anybody. They literally were just on the path.
The thing is, though, is that the rules that they want to bring in are so fucking
I know.
vague.
I've seen the rules. No, it's not that they're vague. They're ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, it's basically so that like they cannot strike.
And basically what they're doing is trying to make strikes ineffective.
Yeah.
Right. The problem is that a lot of the workforce that will be forced to go into work during a strike will be probably have voted for a strike, and they'll be rather pissed about it, which means they'll give minimum service.
Yeah.
And they will not give a shit if someone is unhappy with their service. They'll be like, well, it's a strike day, what do you expect?
Yeah.
Anyway, I think it's time to move on.
Yeah, let's move on because Ubisoft have been Ubisoft.
I'm worried. I'm worried for the lower rungs of the staff at Ubisoft because usually when shares go down, they need to make money, and the easiest way to make money is get rid of staff. What they don't realise is if you get rid of staff, you can't make as many games, you can't make as many profit.
That there is why Guillemot's come out and said.
Yeah,
what he said, because it'll give.
You got to work harder. You've got
to work harder because
you got to work harder.
If you don't work to my standards, then therefore you're not working.
Oh, Guillemot's standards. So basically nothing gets done. Then.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Companies can live without CEOs.
Yeah.
I believe honestly, CEOs. If they're all the CEOs in the world stopped working for a day, we wouldn't notice. We would not notice a damn thing.
Right. Shall we move on?
Yes, we shall.
Moving on to the other thing that we're going to talk about.
D&D. D&D, the Dungeons and Dragons Wizards of the Coast. We talked about it last week.
Yeah, we brought up the OGL last week in an actual tangent because we weren't actually...
No.
There wasn't going to be the plan, but you know what? Fuck it, we talked about it. It's a ridiculous thing, to be fair. So, yeah, after everything, D&D and Hasbro have come out.
Yeah, so Wizards of the Coast, who own Dungeons and Dragons. Now, TLDR, for anyone that hasn't, who doesn't know, Dungeons and Dragons, owned by Wizards of the Coast, goes off a open game license 1.08, if I remember correctly, which basically gives all third parties the ability to write, produce, and make money off of content that they can create and works with Dungeons and Dragons, or it's set in Dungeons and Dragons, in the setting of Dungeons and Dragons. Right now, a few months ago, the new CEO for Wizards of the Coast, and basically to a bunch of shareholders, said we are under monetizing our fan base. Now, for a person that is who is interested as a consumer,
I would say you're in the fan base.
Yeah, I'm in the fan base, but as a consumer of the triple game industry, I am fully aware of the corporate language we are under monetizing.
Yeah,
it basically is code for we're gonna bullshit our way to more money. So, a few months ago, they announced they were going to do this one D&D, and they said they were going to look at the OGL. And a lot of the third parties and a lot of the fan base and a lot of the people who like do streams and all that basically went, look, the OGL works. Leave it. And then they started giving out sweeteners to content, so certain content creators, and early access to the 1.1. And then rumors started to come out, like some people were saying, yeah, this is not good, this is actually quite bad, and then someone leaked it. Someone actually, this is like the community is against the change to the OGL so much that someone broke an NDA to leak this. Right? Because that's the only way this could have gotten out.
Yeah.
Either someone at Wizards of the Coast, i.e. one of the staff members who doesn't agree with it, and from the sounds of it, a lot of the people who actually work at Wizards of the Coast, not the CEO, not the board, someone who actually works there leaked it, or someone who was given it has leaked it. And so it came out, and basically it was, we're going to monetize anyone that makes over 750,000, and monetize a little bit less anyone who makes over 50,000, and also, by the way, that's not profit, that's just total revenue, which is the bullshittest thing to do. We can change the terms and conditions whenever we want, so if we don't make enough money from the 750,000 people, we can lower that to 60,000. And also we'll be taking 25% off you. If you make money, if you do a Kickstarter, we will get 20% of all of that. Anything, you have to sign up to this to do anything to do with Dungeons and Dragons. And if you sign up to it, anything you make we can use without your permission.
Yeah.
Needless to say, the fan base kind of went apeshit.
Well, I mean, if you've been watching YouTube, there'll have been a video about this somewhere. There are so many videos about this.
There's videos on YouTube. Twitter is just an absolute dumpster fire. If you are a shareholder of Wizards of the Coast, the only thing you've seen for the past 2 weeks is negativity. And people saying, yeah, I'm just going to go over to Pathfinder, or I'm going to go to this and that, or I'm not going to make anything. And the whole thing delves from the fact that the people that made this OGL, which is not an OGL, it's not an open game license, it's not, because you have to sign up for it, meaning it's not open, it's closed. Anyone who doesn't sign up for it is not allowed to do anything. And it's they looked at the money and not how the economy works.
Yeah.
Like, it's literally, it was so bad that there was literally them torpedoing their own product in an attempt to make more money. It was almost like two ships lining up next to each other, one having a lot of money with some of it coming over to the other ship, right, and the other ship also having a lot of money. And that ship with a lot of money, with some of the money coming from the first ship over to the second ship, deciding to turn the guns onto the second ship, but being so close that it blows itself up.
Yeah.
By blowing it up.
Yeah.
Like it was so bad. So the community backlash is astronomically bad.
Yeah, I haven't seen something this
like
pushed in a long time.
To the point where Paizo, their competitor, who is their competitor because Wizards of the Coast tried to pull this shit with 4th edition, and Paizo just went, fine, we'll just make Pathfinder, right? And Paizo basically, midway through last week, I think Thursday, basically stood on a mountain, planted a flag, and went, come at me if you think you're hard enough to Wizards of the Coast. And they basically just said, we're still going to do our stuff. No, Kobold Press. Kobold Press basically went...
Kobold Press has said that they're still going to do their stuff.
They're going to do their own stuff, and if Wizards of the Coast want to come at us, we welcome you to try. And then Paizo just went, I will take that and raise you with the orc,
Yeah,
which
the
is
orc.
is it open commercial? No, open role playing community or something like that. It's the orc stands for something.
Yeah.
To which the memes of the time of the orc. It's glorious. So Thursday, just gone, was supposed to be a live stream explaining the new OGL. The fallout of the fact that this, and also a second leak came out where a member of staff told the community the only thing they're looking at for early reaction is D&D Beyond subscription. So for anyone who doesn't know, D&D Beyond is a capture all. You can pay a subscription and you will get unlimited amount of characters that you can create. You have access to literally all the source material that is official Dungeons and Dragons license, and you can make your own characters and classes and all that sort of stuff, right? Basically, the fan base turned around and went, fine, you want to know how bad we don't like this? You want to just read subscriptions? And started unsubscribing en masse to the point where multiple times the website crashed.
Oh.
Right? So, they cancelled. And then they cancelled the live stream, to which everyone started going, yeah, this is bullshit, isn't it? I mean, firstly, the fact that Wizards of the Coast was going to have this all come through their community side, which they'd actually pulled people from and cut people out and downsized, says a lot. And so, and everyone basically went, "Oh, do you think we're going to stop?" They continued, and they're still continuing, by the way, to the point where Wizards had to have to send a response. They had to provide a response, and the response
It's not great.
Is so disattached from the reality of the situation and what people actually are angry about is so bad that it's almost level of farce. It is almost a level of farce. And also, since this has come out, there's been more leaks. Apparently, staff have been fired by not answering a question asked of them correctly.
Oh.
Yeah, apparently staff are in a position where even if they answer a question they're asked, if it's not what the board wants, they could end up being fired. How do you think you're a good employer? How do you think you're a good boss if that is the sort of attitude you have? That nothing but monetizing and squeezing every little dime out of, and I'm talking to the fucking CEO right now, because you, Missy, my God, you are the worst fucking person for this fucking product. They just can't seem to understand the actual economics behind why Dungeons and Dragons is as big as it is. And it is nothing to do with the actual content that Dungeons and Dragons actually make. Because you can't, here's the thing, according to US law, you can't copyright a rule system.
Oh.
Which means the only thing they could take people to court with is really if they use the settings, characters, and in a sense maybe classes, depending on how the class is built. Maybe, but even then that's a massive grey area. But they can't. Here's the thing, right? They can't take anyone to court for using elves, dwarves, orcs. You know, one of the few things they probably could is Mind Flayers, because that were actually created by Wizards of the Coast.
Oh, yeah, could you imagine that? Yeah, I'm taking them used court. Why? Because you've used a dragon. What?
Let me just say this to Wizards of the Coast. The legal entity representing the Tolkien estate would like to have a word with you regarding your use of dragons.
Oh, let's not talk about the Tolkien estate. Let's not talk about them right
I
now.
know, but no, this is the thing. It's like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
Like, how you... Right, so there's all this bounding around, like, can they actually put this through, this 1.1a or 2.0 or whatever the fuck is that? And then they came out with this...
The response.
Shall
we look at the response?
So we look at... Yes, let's look in the I mean, plenty of people have taken this response and thrown it straight into the dumpster fire.
Okay, so here is the response. Okay. This is from D&D Beyond staff. Apparently, it's not. This is from a member of the board of Wizards of the Coast. Yeah. No one who works in a community or on the ground floor talks like this. Okay. When we initially conceived of revising the OGL, it was with 3 major goals in mind. First, we wanted the ability to prevent the use of D&D content from being included in hateful and discriminatory products.
Which is a lie.
Second, we wanted to address those attempting to use D&D in Web3 blockchain games.
And NFTs. Now, before you continue, Hasbro owns Wizards of the Coast. This is Hasbro's doing, as well as Wizards of the Coast. And Hasbro, as of speaking, the last time I checked, was selling Power Rangers NFTs.
Yeah.
So that's a lie.
NFTs, and making clear that the OGL content is limited to tabletop role-playing content like campaigns, modules, and supplements. And third, we wanted to ensure that the OGL is for the content creator, the home brewer, the aspiring designer, our players, and the community, not major corporations to use for their own commercial and promotional purpose.
Right. So here's another thing. The only major massive corporation, and even then, I don't think that massive, that is using the OGL and making money, that much money off it, is Paizo.
Yeah.
Who, as I again repeat myself, Pathfinder is in existence because of what Wizards of the Coast did with 4th edition.
Isn't that Kobold Press?
No, Kobold Press is another one that came out after. They do third-party stuff.
Oh, right. Okay.
And Kobold Press have just basically decided, you know what? No, we'll just go into business for ourselves. Thanks. Cheers.
See you later, guys.
We'll stop making content for you.
So, continuing on. Driving these goals with 2 simple principles. Number 1, our job is to be good stewards of the game. And number 2, the OGL exists for the benefit of the fans. Nothing about those principles has wavered for a second. Now, if you actually read the OGL, you would actually see why that's actually kind of a funny statement to make, because it is clearly not for the fans.
No.
It's clearly not for any of that stuff. But anyway, that was why our early drafts of the new OGL included the provisions that they did. Now, they're saying that was an early draft that was leaked.
Drafts do not go out with contracts.
They also don't go out... You don't have a 9,000 word draft.
Yeah. They also have on it, multiple times, draft.
Yeah. The OGL exists for the benefit of the fans. Nothing about those principles was wavered for a second. That was an early draft of our new OGL, included the provisions that they did. The draft language was provided to content creators and publishers so their feedback could be considered before anything was finalized. In addition to language allowing us to address discriminatory and hateful conduct and clarifying what type of products the OGL covers, our drafts included royalty language designed to apply to large corporations attempting to use OGL content. It was never our intent to impact the vast majority of the community.
Right, okay, now I'll stop you there. So, since when does a draft not get published to the people what they said in the way they said? The OGL was supposed to go live the Friday the 13th of January, just gone.
Yeah.
Right? They hadn't even published it. It got leaked. That's the only reason why we knew about what was in it. They had no intention of sharing it with the fan base. They had no intention of sharing it with the community.
Yeah. However, it's clear from the reaction that we rolled a 1.
Hello there, fellow gamers! We're cool like you! Go fuck yourself. This is not the time to be cute. This is not the time to be jolly. Hello there, fellow kids. No. No, this is serious shit. You deliberately tried to ruin a community's livelihood and just...
Well, it's just their fun.
Yeah.
You're trying to ruin their fun for money. That's what
you're trying to
do.
take something that they love and turn it into an absolute fucking clusterfuck of a... Like... Anyway.
It has become clear that it is no longer possible to fully achieve all three goals while still staying true to our principles.
What, making more money?
So here's what we are doing. The next OGL will contain the provisions that allow us to protect and cultivate the inclusive environment we are trying to build. Your environment is already inclusive, so that's fine.
Like we said last week, Dungeons and Dragons, 90% of the time, if you ask a question, 90% of the time, the answer is yes. Hell, here's the thing, right? The OGL goes against the wording in the player handbook. Because the wording in the player handbook literally says, we want you to go out and create stuff and create stories.
Yeah.
Just have fun and you don't need to worry about like doing whatever we like.
Right. Inclusive environment we are trying to build and specify that it covers only content for tabletop role-playing games. That means that other expressions such as educational and charitable campaigns, live streams, cosplays, VTT uses, etc. will remain unaffected by any OGL updates. Content already released under 1.0a will also remain unaffected. Now, here's the thing. Then, in the original thing, cosplayers and live streams, they probably were talking about live streams, but it was never actually mentioned.
No.
But cosplayers and VTT users and charity campaigns, nobody looked at that.
No, but the thing is, there was right. So the two major issues with the OGL 1.1 was one, it was vague as hell.
Yeah.
In regards to what they classed as Dungeons and Dragons content, and two, they basically stated they could change the contract whenever the fuck they want and only needed to give you 9 days notice.
I suppose.
So, here's the thing. They still keep going on about this new OGL.
Yep.
No one wants it anymore. We don't trust you. We don't trust you to actually do what is in for the benefit of the game. We don't trust you. Just go back to 1.0a and make it irrevocable. That's all we want now. That's the only thing that will actually have any sort of possibility of you saving your fucking face. Because no one trusts you to do what is actually morally right.
Right. So continuing on. What it will not contain is any royalty structure. It also will not include the license back provision that some people were afraid was a means for us to steal work. That thought never crossed our minds. Yes, it did.
Bullshit.
Yes, it did. Under any new OGL, you will own the content you create. We won't. Any language we put down will be crystal clear and unequivocal on that point. The license back language was intended to protect us and our partners from creators who incorrectly align that we steal their work simply because of coincidental similarities.
I mean, we're talking about high fantasy. Do you want, like, how the fuck is any sort of like, well, you stole this? Why? Because that's
because that's an elf.
That's an elf. You can't copyright elves. You can't copyright high elves. You can't copyright orcs. You can't copyright. This is the reason. Here's the thing. This is the reason why Games Workshop, who usually pull this sort of bullshit, why they got rid of the old world and brought in Age of Sigmar, because they got to rename all the races so that they could copyright the races, because they couldn't copyright high elves, they couldn't copyright humans, they couldn't copyright orcs, goblins, trolls, giants. They couldn't copyright them. Why? Because they're so.
Well, number one, they've been around since Tolkien.
Yeah.
So they're in.
They've been around since before Tolkien.
Yeah, they've been around. These things have been around for so long that technically they break any public use
Yeah.
rule that you can think of.
The first person that came up with a dragon has been dead for well over 1,000 years.
Yeah.
Like, there probably wasn't even such a thing as copyright. Hell, I would probably bet the person that created, told the very first story that involved a dragon that we know of, either the Chinese version or the European version, I guarantee you that person probably didn't know how to write because there wasn't such a thing called paper.
Where was I? Similarities. As we continue to invest in the game that we love and move forward with partnerships in film, television, and digital games, let's not talk about your digital games at the moment. They're not doing too well. That risk is simply too great to ignore. The new LGL will contain provisions to address that risk.
That's talking about that new LGL again.
But we will do it without a license back and without suggesting that we have the rights to the content you create. Your ideas and imaginations are what makes this game special, and that belongs to you. A couple of last thoughts. First, we won't be able to release the new OGL today because we need to make sure we get it right, but it is coming. Second, you're going to hear people say that they won and we lost because making your voices heard forced us to change our plans. Those people will only be half right. They won and so did we. Good golly gosh.
Have you ever read a more petty
right?
a more petty paragraph in a frigging
right?
response announcement? Like, holy shit. The person who wrote this was really looking forward to their big bonus for all the extra money they thought they were going to get.
Yeah. And so, I'm moving on to the last paragraph of the thing. Our plan was always to solicit the input of our community before any update to the OGL.
No, you
which
weren't.
Clearly wasn't true. The drafts you've seen were attempting to do just that.
Again,
we want
they
to
weren't marked
always
as
delight
drafts.
fans and create experiences together that everyone loves. Why is this starting to sound like Blizzard? You know when everything was kicking off again?
The CEO of Wizards of the Coast is a former Microsoft Xbox Live.
Yeah. We realise we did
board member.
We did not do that this time, and we are sorry for that. Our goal was to get exactly the type of feedback on which provisions worked and which did not, which we ultimately got from you. Any change this major could only have been done well if we were willing to take that feedback. Hold on. Any change this major could only have been done well if we were willing... There you go, I said it better that time. Take that feedback. No matter how it was provided, so we are. Thank you for caring enough to let us know what works and what doesn't, what you need and what scares you. Without knowing that, we can't do our part to make the new OGL match our principles. Finally, we'd appreciate the chance to make this right. We love D&D's devoted players and the creators who take them on so many incredible adventures. So we won't let you down.
Okay, so first things first. That last sentence, we won't let you down. No, that's already happened. You've let us down. You have failed miserably in your ability to communicate, understand, and look after the community and the economy that makes you money. You have failed on a biblical scale. On a scale so grand that it can be seen from the center of the universe.
Aye.
Because the exact opposite of what you wanted to happen has happened. All the third-party content creators that were making stuff for 5th edition have turned around and joined this orc that has been made up by Paizo. People who were making amazing 5th edition content that was driving people to buy the rule book, the player book, the bestiality, and all the other stuff that was brought in that is official license. All those people that were making stuff that was driving consumers to you have turned around and gone, nah, no more, not doing any more for you. I can't. You know, for some people, this is their livelihood. This is their actual livelihood of making content, and it is only possible because of the OGL. And you have decided that, no, I want your money now.
what I don't understand is like, GW tried this not that long ago.
Yeah.
And it was quite big. It was quite a big blowback. Like what happened. I mean, nothing compared to this. But like, you would think that they would look at this and then look at, because literally Games Workshop tried to do the exact same thing. You would think that they would look at that and go, maybe this isn't the best idea considering what I... Because, yeah, Games Workshop is, I would say, on the tabletop term, it's a big company, but it's not, like, massive.
It's not
compared to D&D.
It's not Wizards of the Coast.
Yeah.
But,
So,
like, the Games Workshop has so many examples of doing bullshit and
doing really stupid
the
things.
fan base just turn around and going, fine, we just won't make any content.
And we won't play your game.
We won't play your game. What are you going to do when no one plays your game? No new people come to buy your products.
So the amount of times Games Workshop's tried to do something like this and they've had to pull it back because
of the
fan base. Like, I know they're not as big as you, but like you can learn from other people's mistakes.
So after that was the next leak of basically the staff being fired for basically not agreeing with them or giving them the wrong answer, giving board members the wrong answer and all that. And basically saying like the board are thinking the fan base is overreacting. Oh, you think this is an overreaction?
Yeah.
You think this is an overreaction? What happens when no one buys any of your fucking products? What happens when your profits turn from what they are now to negative numbers? Because that's the level of community that is literally, and everyone in the community is literally saying, nah, don't stop now, keep going, push, keep going. We're not done yet.
Hold the line.
Hold the line. Do not. The line is. This is the line. We have drawn the line here, and I'm looking at that, and that's okay. So they went for their 2 steps forward. They're hoping they can only take 1 step back.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, we don't trust you. We do not trust you to actually have the game's best interest in your planning. You just want to make more money. So. No, I don't want you to change anything with the OGL. I would have been okay with tiny little bits, like the stuff like confirming that NFTs and blockchain shouldn't be allowed. But no, I don't trust you. I want two things. I want you to revert back to. I want Wizards of the Coast to revert back to 1.0A and make it irrevocable. That's the only thing that I want.
See, I'm okay in this because, well, I mean, I was looking at D&D, but now I'm just like, well, I've got Warhammer, so I'll just stick with Warhammer. See you later, guys.
Well, the thing is, though, there's other games.
Yeah, there's Pathfinder.
There's Pathfinder, Call of Cthulhu. Like, here's the thing, like there's the Lord of the Rings role playing game, right? Is built off the OGL.
Yeah. To which, to be fair, like Dungeons and Dragons is built off Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, exactly. Like, without Lord of the Rings, there is no Dungeons and Dragons. Let's all be honest here, people. There is no such thing as...
without Lord of the Rings, there's no high fantasy.
Yeah.
Let's
or at least not for high fantasy what we know of today.
Yeah.
Right? But, like, and here's the thing, right? There's a lot of companies that are affected by this, right? Paizo, the Tolkien Estate.
Yeah, Cobalt
Press. And a fair few of them have the finances to literally turn around to Wizard of the Coast and Hasbro and go, yeah, okay, fine, see you in court.
Yeah. I feel, what I feel bad for? I feel bad for the ones that have literally just released the Dark Souls roleplay.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's based off 5th edition.
Yes, it is. It's built off the OGL.
Yeah. It's just like they literally just released it.
But look, here's the thing, right? Hasbro, and this is one of the reasons why they're pulling this. Hasbro shares dropped over the last year. They are suffering financially. I honestly don't think Hasbro has the money.
They probably don't
to fight any of this. I think they thought they could do this and get away with it because the CEO at Wizards of the Coast is from the AAA game industry. There's a shock. AAA game industry poisoning everything we know and love. And I think they thought that this was going to go the way of like loot boxes or all the other controversies that the AAA like EA and Activision have, and like, oh, there'll be a
backlash.
There'll be a backlash, but it'll only be for about a few days, and everyone will get tired. Yeah, you don't understand the community that D&D has. Like D&D is, like I said last week, it's a big community, but it's for the people that actually like bring in the money. It's a tight group. Like there is like like sort of like there's this like dichotomy of like people taking other people's ideas and incorporating it into their own worlds and that.
Yeah.
And it's seen as it's not in a sense it's like no one's like taking ownership of like rules and mechanics and characters and all that. So it's like, no, this is just our way of storytelling. And it's great, and we love it because it gets a group of us together. We can have amazing stories, and there'll be laughter and crying and sadness and risk and reward and joy and all the highs and all the lows, and anything to make that storytelling better, it's fine. So it is like the biggest misread of a community I've ever seen, because there was only going to be, the only way they could have got this through is if everyone held on, no one broke the NDA. And from the fact that there has been so many leaks from Wizards of the Coast and from certain communities like Critical Role have probably got NDAs and probably basically can't criticize Wizards of the Coast, otherwise they'll get sued to hell. But they've come out and basically said, yeah, we kind of support the community in this sort of thing. It's, in sort of way, like, so they don't basically kick the hornet's nest and have it all dive on them. Because I can imagine them being in a really tight spot of like, yeah, we kind of don't agree with this because this fucks us over as well. But our contracts basically say we can't openly criticize, etc. So they must be in a bad place. But like the vast majority, like the entire community as a whole, has just turned around and gone, no. And here's the best thing, Wizards of the Coast, you need us more than we need you, because we can just continue on with what we've got. We can go to other source material. We can go to, I would say, Pathfinder. I'm trying to remember Coco's Crest. There's Castle and Dragons, which I think has a way to convert Dungeons and Dragons stuff to fit their source material, and it has spectacularly blown up in their faces, and and the annoying thing is that the people responsible for this will fuck off in about 2 years' time.
Yeah.
They'll go off to somewhere else and leave the fucking smouldering wreck that is this company just for someone else to fix it. And this is why the community as a whole has literally said, no, go back to 1.0A, make it irrevocable, because we don't trust you. We no longer trust you. And that is like some people will say we lost and they won. Well, it'll be half right. How fucking petty, how small is that person who wrote that?
I'm going to say very small.
A tiny, tiny, tiny person.
Most likely.
Like, how pissed are you that you couldn't get your lovely paycheck because you got this bullshit through? How pissed are you? Because seriously, if a easily readable reaction from the community, which this was clearly going to happen,
to which they even said, if you remember,
they expected backlash. They knew that this was unpopular, and they still tried to go ahead with it. And because of the absolute ginormous clusterfuck that is the fan base leaving en masse from the only thing that you were apparently making money from, and everyone turning around and going, yeah, we're not going to buy your product anymore. And yet you put that in some sort of self-ego, like, oh, I haven't lost. No, I haven't lost. Clearly not. I'm sorry, but that phrase epitomizes everything that is wrong with your company. This whole zero fucking sum game, like, oh well, this community outside of our control is making this much money.
I actually think
if we bring it all under our control and make them have to do, we will take all that money. No, that isn't what happens. You fucking idiot.
Yeah. So, I don't know anymore. Again, this goes into this discussion that we had last week about how, like, companies lately, especially for the last, like, I'd say 5, maybe 6 years, they just don't have any connection to their fan base anymore. They've literally gone, oh, thanks for buying my product. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Which is weird. And I don't understand where this mentality has come from. It just appeared out of nowhere.
I honestly think it's the AAA game industry, because the AAA game industry constantly does 2 steps forward, 1 step back, 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Like, people kicked off when Oblivion sold Horse Armor.
Yeah, that's true.
And that sort of DLC is just fucking normal now.
But like you see this sort of attitude everywhere though. Now, you see it everywhere.
It's greed. It's just pure greed.
And it's just like, yeah, I know, but there's being greedy, and then there's like I can understand being greedy and wanting the money, but like, you don't have to treat people like the way these companies are.
It's because a lot of it is because the people who are in these positions of power have done nothing really to get there.
I know, exactly.
They haven't had to stand in front of a customer who is clearly and justifiably pissed off and take all that shit, even though it's not your fault, and then apologize to that customer and then sort out their problem.
Yeah.
You know, they haven't been shouted down the phone saying you're a worthless piece of shit and you don't deserve your job. They haven't had to deal with that. And so they think that because they are in this position of power, that they have God-given right to do whatever the fuck they want without consequence, and then this sort of shit happens.
Oh well, yeah.
But yeah, to anyone, just keep going on with the fight. Do not, to quote Jean-Luc Picard, the line must be drawn here.
Yeah, just hold the line.
No step back. No more.
Like I said, I don't really have a dog in this fight. I'm not a big.
Another thing that annoys me is it's clearly, so clearly worded in it's us versus them mentality, and it's like instead of trying to get people on side, it just pushes them away
even more.
Yeah, it's like it's so how do you don't deserve to exist as a company with an attitude like that. I'm sorry, you don't, because it's the antithesis of bringing new people in. How do you expect to bring new people in if no one who was already there is saying good things about your product? I mean, I'm not a business acumen, but I know that's the fucking worst thing you can do.
All you need to know is to be fair, to run a business, especially when it comes to selling things, all you need to really know is how to get people to buy your shit.
Yeah.
That's it. That is really it. Like, you don't, in all honesty,
I know, but like, the thing is though, there's a way to go about it.
Yeah.
And,
that's what I mean.
And basically saying, you have to buy this, and no matter what you do...
Well, the thing is, doing that, no matter what you're trying to sell, isn't going to sell it. That's what I mean. Like, you need to know how to sell things to people. Like, demanding things to be the way that you want it to be is never going to work.
No.
Like, no one's going to buy your shit if you demand that they buy it by jumping through 25 hoops of set on fire and then landing on a bike.
Or saying everything you make from that thing that you bought off them belongs to them, not you. Yeah,
So-
no one's going to buy it then.
There, it's just again, like I said, it's just another example of a company just for some bizarre reason just throwing away their fan base. I mean, Disney with Star Wars, that's literally what they did. They were just like, nah, you guys are all toxic. You're sexist and all that sort of shit.
Yeah.
And look at Star Wars now. Well, I mean, what do we have? We have the Mandalorian, which is all right. Like, it's a good show.
Andor is apparently good, but no one's watching it.
Why? The problem with Andor is like because I've watched it and I know everybody says it's really good. I think it's middling, but it's just sort of like these are all characters that like I didn't care about them in the movie that they're in. Why am I going to care about them now?
Yeah, but the problem is like, for especially Disney, is like with the Star Wars, is the fan base have gotten that tired of being basically giving shit, and then when they call out that shit, being saying, no, you're sexist or racist or this or that or the other, like, you're the problem. They just don't bother. They don't care anymore. Like, they literally go, look, I've got my stuff already on Star Wars that I know and love and like. I'm going to keep to that. And everything you do, regardless of how good it is,
I'm just going to say no.
I'm just going to say no to it. And that, I think that's the problem. That Andor is not going to get a second season, or anything like Andor is not going to get a second season because hardly anyone's watching it. And the
thing is, what's happened here, what's happened with Disney with that, right? That's what D&D's doing now. So the problem is that no matter what Hasbro and Wizards of the Coast do now, it's done.
Yeah, the damage is done. Trust in the community is going to take
destroyed it.
Years. Absolute years.
I don't even think.
And even then, I don't think it'll get back to the level it was before.
In this sort of thing, like a AAA gaming industry is actually a prime example of this shit. You get one chance, like no matter what it is. Like nobody, like CD Projekt Red released Cyberpunk in that god awful state. Nobody trusts them now. EA released games quite regularly now that are broken, but there was a time when they would release games that are in a good condition.
Yeah.
And now no one expects anything different from them other than broken, buggy messes. Activision constantly do the same thing. You're with Activision. You expect the monetization
to be shit,
to be there, and for it to shove it in your face constantly. Right, all the trust that those companies built up over the years, it's all gone now.
That's what I'm saying. It's going to take years, and even then, it'll never get back to the position. And like I say, the only thing the fan base will accept for Wizards of the Coast now is reverse back to 1.0A. The only change being make it irrevocable.
Aye.
And here's the thing: when they go on about the beginning, like, oh, we want it to stop hurtful and hateful content. The 1.0A has that in it. Wizards of the Coast can, if they deem a product that is being made under 1.0A is harmful to Dungeons and Dragons, they can turn around and revoke the license to that person who's making that content. They didn't need. So that's again another lie. And I think that's the thing. Is like it's so friggin' clear that they are lying in the friggin' response. Like the whole thing about it's a draft. Drafts don't come with contracts. We wanted the community input. If that's the case, why wasn't there surveys? Why wasn't there questions? Why did it have to be leaked? We didn't want to steal your content. That's bullshit because it was literally in the thing. It was literally worded in there that they could take whatever the fuck they want. And here's the thing they don't say that they're not going to change. The thing that they could change the OGL whenever the fuck they want, whenever, and give you literally an extra amount of time to get ready for it. And that they they still want to bring in a new OGL.
Oh yeah.
They are still desperately trying to push this through, and it is bullshit. I know that the entire community has literally turned around and said, no, this is wrong. we don't trust you anymore. We don't trust anything you are going to do to change the OGL. Revert back to 1.0A because, like I say, because the people who are responsible for this, they're not going to be at Wizards of the Coast in about 2 years.
Mm.
And there's another CEO with another bright idea. Honest to God, you're starting to sound like the civil fucking service, where a boss comes in and comes up with a great idea, and then 4 years later it goes off, and someone else comes in with a great idea, and then they fuck off after 4 years, and another one comes in. All this time, all these new great ideas just start getting in the way because none of them have had time to actually set in place. I'm sorry, the people in charge of Wizards of the Coast right now, the board of directors, you can go fuck yourselves.
Mm.
You can literally go and F off because you are the problem. You are the cause of the company's problems. And Hasbro, the same. The CEO and the board of directors, you can go. You are literally the problem because you have so many really good licenses, but you can't. You have that same problem like the AAA game industry where you can't stand someone else having money.
Mm.
And I'm sick and tired of being nickeled and dimed by these multi-billion corporations run by people who have never had to fucking had a hard day's work in their life.
Mm.
And I don't care what they say. I'm sorry, those people, no one who has had to deal with the bullshit from the higher ups and had to deal with customers will ever come up with the shit that this OGL 1.1 was.
Aye.
No one who has worked at the bottom rung of a company will ever come up with anything like that.
Mm. And I think on that note, we shall end it there.
Yes.
That's a good end, I think. I do hope you've enjoyed this chat.
And rant.
And rant. Yes, and rant. And I do hope to see you in the next ones. Bye now.
Toodles.